There's four, five.
Super.
Good evening.
So we do have a quorum now. I know Olivia said that she's going to be a few minutes late, so I'm not sure whether you want to wait for her or just to continue.
Well, why don't we give it till 6:35? Give it a couple, 3 minutes.
All right.
Guess I shouldn't eat my nachos during the meeting, eh? On Zoom.
I was just going to say the same thing, eating a little snack real quick. It's always a rush.
All right, we'll get started in 1 minute. I need that light.
I think we're good to go. I think we have everyone who said
Yeah,
they're going
yeah,
to be
we
here.
did. Okay, we're going to start. Welcome to the January meeting of the 2029 Historic Welland Canals Task Force. I'll call the meeting to order. And recognition of traditional territories. Um, we're meeting today on lands that are the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish and One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, the gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Acknowledging this is a reminder that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous peoples. Okay, and any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda? All right, thank you, Councillor Garcia. And all in favor? Against? Carried. Thank you. And I'd also like a motion to adopt the minutes of the previous meeting that was held on November 21st, 2023. Can I have a motion to adopt those minutes, please? Okay, thank you, Denise. And all in favor? All right. All right.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Sure. Counselor?
Question on the minutes to Kathleen, I guess. I know in the minutes we say that staff will be presenting the interpretive plan to council. Have any plans been confirmed for that, or?
We're still working through because of the
the budget has pretty much taken up most of council for the last little while. Working
I hear
with
you.
with the director and the clerk's office to find the right time for it to go to council. But I think it'll be a joint presentation of someone from the task force and staff as well. There will be a staff report, and then I would imagine someone from the task force can come and present if we wanted to do that.
Thank you. So hopefully in February, or
I don't know, because it'll just depend on when the best time will be to take it to council. I think there's still a few more budget related council agendas, aren't there?
yeah, basically we have until tomorrow for any further amendments to be submitted tomorrow at 4. So if no other amendments are submitted, then the meeting January 31st is canceled. But we don't know whether something will be submitted by tomorrow. But in terms of having somebody from the task force, I certainly would strongly recommend that if you can have the chair there, because he's so knowledgeable about every aspect of the Welland Canal. So
Right now, I don't
Oh.
have a timeline, only because it has to kind of go through the director and onto the clerk's office to kind of establish when the best time will be for that to happen. But I'll keep you posted. Hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have a little bit more to update on that.
okay, thank you.
And thank you, Counselor, for your endorsement there. I am knowledgeable about the canals, but the process of what we're trying to do, I have zip experience. But I will. I look forward to taking part in that if the task force feels that they want me to do that. I would be happy to, along with the staff person. I'll be standing behind the staff person. Anyways, thank you. Next, item 6, we have correspondence.
Kathleen, did we vote on the minutes? I can't remember because I interrupted.
Yes, we
Oh.
did.
We did, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right, correspondence, the Erie Canal Corporation and the Welland Canal Conference. And that was an email.
Do you want me to speak to that?
If you would, please, Kathy.
Sure. The email actually was forwarded from Lorraine. However, I did receive a similar email to what Lorraine received from Leslie Harper, letting us know that she had been asked to by the Erie Canal Corporation to assist with the Welland Canal Conference that they're holding. And so because she's quite involved in how in getting tour groups across on both sides of the border, I think, she was a great contact for them to make. And so she just wanted to touch base with us related to that. You may or may not recall that Adrian has also when I was approached by the Erie Canal Conference, I also recommended Adrian Petrie be our liaison from the task force and from staff. And so he's also a contact with that group about their conference as well.
Okay.
Carla, I think Adrian touched base with you. What did he said something about this, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't have any extra details than
Okay.
what you just described.
Okay. Any comments or questions to that issue with the Erie Canal Corporation?
Kathleen, thank you for that. And thank you for responding back to Leslie. So will we have to say anything else to Leslie? Tell her that we're in a holding position, or what's next for that? I know you don't have any more details, but I'm just wondering, are we assuring her that we'll get back to her as soon as we know something?
Yeah, we can keep Leslie in the loop. Her and Adrian have also connected, so that the two of them can kind of keep each other in the loop back and forth about if we know anything or if she knows anything. Hopefully she'll connect back with us and let us know. And I don't think we have a lot of details yet about their conference. So as soon as we have it, that'll be much helpful.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, I shouldn't respond back beyond what I've already said to her. Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you passing that along, though. Thanks, Lorraine.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Lorraine. So this Welland Canals Conference, is this being held in the States or where is it being held?
I think it's in the States. I
Okay.
have to, let me pull to see if I can find the original email that they sent me. Give me a minute. Just continue, I'll find the email while you're doing that.
All right. Okay, declarations of interest. Welcome Dan Malik from Brock University, the new task force member. Welcome aboard, sir.
Hello, thank you. Happy to be here.
Okay,
Do you need me to say anything about myself or why I'm here?
if you like, sure. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
taking the place of Danny Sampson, who had to step down for personal reasons, and I'm the director of the Center for Canadian Studies, and I'm a historian as well. I'm not in the Department of History at Brock. I'm in the Department of Health Sciences, but I do Canadian history and Ontario history. So, and
That's
since
great.
moving to Niagara in 1998, I would have been shocked at how little the Welland Canal history has been appreciated. It seems often covered and grown over. So I'm really glad to be part of this as well.
Well, we're glad to have you. Absolutely. Yeah, it is kind of grown over, but hopefully we'll remedy that in
Once
the
in a while, I'll go
upcoming
for a walk.
5 years.
Once in a while, I go for a walk and I find a piece of the canal. It's like, awesome. This is number
Yeah. That's great. All right.
And Kathleen, sorry, do we have to have any kind of a vote to affirm Dan's joining us, or?
I don't think so. I think we're okay because he's basically replacing Danny as the rep from Brock University.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Business 8.1, the interpretive plan update. That Kathy or Carla, do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I don't think I have anything more to add since Councillor Garcia pretty much asked the question of what I would have added for the update.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
that we're still
that's true.
waiting. So
Yeah,
that's where
since
we're at.
once it hits council. All right. Any other questions about the interpretive plan from anyone? Or
Just to
comments?
comment on that, Mr. Chair, that, sorry, Mr. Malik, the, we're hoping, as I discussed with the CAO, that once we get the interpretive plan before council, and then that will include some of the specific changes we want to make to trails and that kind of thing, that we'll get that approved altogether at that meeting. So,
Okay, that's great. All right, and Dan, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I was just wondering if the plan had been, if I've had access to it yet. I can't remember what was sent to me when I joined. So is it available somewhere online, or could I get?
I think I sent it to you in an email, Dan, when we first connected, but I can resend it. So it's right at the top of your email if you want.
It's okay. If you sent it, I'll find it because I have a very esoteric filing system, but it will be there. Search.
And I do have extra printed copies. So if you would like a printed copy, I can actually drop it off at Brock for you.
It's okay. I don't need a printed copy, but thank you for the offer. I think I may have found it already. I have a screen over here. That's why I keep looking away. I'm not just ignoring the committee.
Got a lot
All
going
right.
on.
Okay, any other comments about that before we move on? All right, the Welland Canal National Historic Civil Engineering Site. I'm not familiar with what that's about.
I can update about that. So I was contacted by a group called, where are they? They are a group of engineers and why can't I find their thing? Canadian Society for Civil Engineers. They're having their annual conference in Niagara Falls in June this year. But they have a history committee. And part of their history committee, they try to recognize sites that are considered significant sites of engineering throughout Canada. And they have approached because they'd like to recognize the Welland Canal as a site of significance for civil engineering. It's not the same kind of thing as if you've seen the national, like recognizing the Welland Canals overall as a National Historic Site. This is basically a plaque at a location along the Welland Canals. They're really wanting to recognize all 4 Welland Canals for their civil engineering contribution over time. And they've asked if we would be willing to consider having that plaque at the museum at Lock 3. So so really they've started their pulling together their documentation and their information. I've had a little meeting with the couple of the 3 members who were, or 4 members who were on that committee last week, and they gave me a little bit more information. It sounds pretty straightforward. They're going to pull together a kind of a paper that discusses the importance of the Welland Canals, and then they'll start pulling together what the wording of the plaque would be, and go from there. They would expect to be able to announce that site will be like that the Welland Canals will be recognized at their conference in June, but they said that if we wanted to plan something more involved as a way to unveil the plaque, that could happen at a different time from their conference, because having their conference in June is actually pretty soon. It's fairly close. So
Right.
I actually recommended them to them a different date. So we'll see what comes from that. But and I'm happy to continue to share information as they share it along for us. Really, all they were looking for was us being willing to consider hosting the plaque at the museum, which is why they contacted me in the first place. And then they wanted to use some of our historic images potentially. So,
Right.
so there was that. So I think it's a great thing, and I think it's something that we can use to tie into kind of promoting the recognition of the 200th anniversary of the Welland Canals, and the work that we're doing here as well. So they seem like they're going to move along fairly quickly because of their conference being in June. It's a fairly quick turnaround time to actually get all of this pulled together, do the wording of the plaque, and have the plaque cast by the time their conference happens. So so they seem pretty confident that they're able to meet that timeline. So I'll keep you posted anytime there's information, and if I have the wording for the plaque with enough time to be able to pass it along, I'll pass it along to the group to have a read before we go they go forward.
Now, was this group, were they set on the museum as a site as a logical choice for just because of the amount of visitors? I don't know, I
Yeah.
just think more historically appropriate site might be the deep cut at Allenburg, because that's the one spot on the canal where all 4 entities of the Welland Canal shared the same spot of real estate. But
They
I
like-
get the
they like a
paradox there, it's
site
not
that,
very accessible.
They like a site that someone is willing to commit to caring for the plaque.
True enough.
Because essentially
Yeah.
there's once it's up, it's the responsibility of the landowner to keep it, to take care of
Yes.
it for the rest of
Yes.
its days. It should be relatively straightforward to put a plaque up at the museum. But I
Yes.
can put it forward to them if you think that the museum isn't the best location.
don't-
But then I
I-
can't say anything about where it goes if it's going in Thorold. I have no say on that for sure.
The museum is the most practical choice, and it's within St. Catharines, or the deep cut is not even in St. Catharines.
They
That's
did
the
say
canal
that
geek in me, right?
they did make a specific note about that part of the building of the Welland Canal being such an important engineering feat, that,
Yes.
Yeah. Building the deep cut. So,
Yeah, well, the first canal, that was half the budget, went to the deep cut,
yeah.
All right, any other comments or questions about the National Historic Civil Engineering Site and their plans for plaque? That's great recognition, though, and exactly, that ties in great with what we're trying to do, and we could use it as another springboard. Okay, the next item, 8.3, January issue of Merit and Matters. includes mention of the interpretive plan. Did you want to fill us in on that, Lorraine? I haven't seen has it been published yet, the article, or?
No, it's actually just gone to print today. There's a few delays with ads coming in. And thank you, Kathleen and Carla, for including that on the agenda. Yes, there's a large article about it, taken from the interpretive plan, but I did run it by Kathleen for okay, that I wasn't saying anything that we had to vote on or anything that was too specific in terms of things that might not be approved by council. So it's a fairly generic article, but I think it's enough to kind of tease interest, especially in the community. And then it's also distributed to the city councilors, as you know, Carlos, so they can see it as well. It's available through the city. So I think it's just a little teaser maybe about some of the good things that we've been working on and as a first step of the draft. So I anticipate it'll probably be about a week at the printers. And then if anybody wants a hard copy as well, I'll send you the online link too. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine. And that's a great plug. So thank the folks over at Merit Matters for putting in a word about what we're trying to do. That's great.
You're looking at the folks over at Meriton Matters.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
That's
Thanks.
great. Any
Thanks.
comments or questions for Lorraine regarding the upcoming article? Okay, thank you. All right, and item 8.4, walking tours. We've just to fill you in, Dan, what the task force decided was that we were going to conduct over the months, the first year or so, several hikes, and try and cover as many sites of old Welland Canal sites within the city limits, just so the task force can get an idea of what on the ground, the remnants that are left, and any ideas that come on these hikes as far as sign placement or any other ideas that will help promote the actual in situ remnants and the trails associated with them. So we haven't had much success in putting the hikes together due to weather or folks not being available to come. We just canceled the hike, I think it was last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago because of the weather. We were looking to hike Mountain Locks Park, which does require specific weather conditions because inclement weather back there makes it downright unsafe because the vast majority of that hike, yeah, you can hike up the Merritt Trail along the old locks, but to get a sense of how the locks worked and the infrastructure, there are remnants and ruins of the infrastructure to help get those ships up those. I think what's the lift there, about 100 feet? From 120 feet or something at Neptune staircase there. So I suggested, why don't we wait till spring? And Mountain Locks Park, there's a window. We want to get in there before the leaves come out, but we don't want the snow and the ice. So we're thinking it'd be good to hike that as our next hike, but in the spring, in March. Might be wet, so if you have wellies, that's great. But we don't want ice. There's a lot of tripping hazards back there. So maybe we can, at our next meeting or the meeting after, we can schedule a hike in the spring, late March, early April, to continue with the hikes. Does that sound good to folks, or any input, or Councillor Garcia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, you did mention maybe late March. I was just going to say that the weather has been so unpredictable that when we say spring, it could actually be late winter, depending on what's happening. But
Yeah.
just as long as the weather conditions are right.
Yeah, it has to be safe back there because, we're not all 22 anymore. I know I'm not, so. All right, any comments regarding the hikes? Okay,
I think Lorraine has a comment, Renee.
okay. I'm sorry, Lorraine, go ahead.
So Renee, you had mentioned at our last meeting that we should invite Isabel Bachman. I did invite
Yes.
her. She accepted with great appreciation. And so I will keep her advised of the
Okay.
time we have our next hike, and hopefully she could join us then as well.
Okay. Yeah, Isabel's a great resource. Growing up, her family lived in one of the gatekeepers or lot tenders buildings that's up there. There were two, now there's just one on um, the street.
Bradley.
Bradley, yes, it just escaped me there. Um, yeah, so she's a great resource for that particular part of the second Welland Canal. She'd certainly be valuable to have along on that hike. All right, now we're at the date of our next meeting, but before we go there, is there anyone have any other comments or things I'd like to throw into the mix? Counselor Garcia?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to ask Kathleen, and I don't know if this is a confidential matter that has to be in camera, but you were going to check to see what happened with the Marathon councilors that they will no longer be attending. Any updates on that, or?
I don't believe they're going to be attending the meetings, but they also won't be affecting our quorum. For now, anyway.
They won't be.
Right. So it should cause us a little less challenge that we don't have to worry that it affects the quorum. So, but we also don't have to change our terms of reference at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that they choose not to participate. Meriton certainly requires a voice on this task force, and we have Lorraine, and I don't know if any of the other folks are Meritonians, but yeah, that's unfortunate.
I don't feel like if we contacted them for something that we wanted to have them involved in, that they would not be willing to participate. So
Right.
I think they're still supportive of the idea, but I don't think they're going to attend the meetings.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed from what I gathered, it was more time restraints and time issues. So
I was just going to ask if we knew why. Kathleen. Oh, can't say?
I don't
Okay.
have that information actually.
Oh,
so-
okay. Because as you said, as Renee said, Meriton is a huge part, not the only part we know very well, but a huge part. And so that's too bad. It's
I think
unfortunate.
the counselors, actually all the council members see our minutes, and so they are kept apprised of what's happening. And I think if there's
Right.
something that is very specific that we think that the Meriton counselors should be actively engaged with, I don't think it'll be a problem to engage with them and have them participate
Yeah.
with the task force.
Yeah, so we will be able to reach out to them as needed. So that's good to know. That's
Thank
good to
you.
know. Okay, thank you.
Renee,
Yes,
one other thing about the date of the next meeting. I'm going to suggest instead of 5 p.m., 6:30, because I think that time
Okay.
works a little bit better.
Yeah. Yes, it does for me because I don't get off work till 5 by the time I get home. I just wanted to add something. Kathleen, go ahead. You wanted to add something?
This isn't about the time of the meeting, so if you wanted to add about that, I can. This is a new business thing.
Yeah, I have another new business thing too. So
Okay.
Can I
you go ahead.
just jump in
Yeah.
about the meeting time really quick through the chair? Is that all right? I
Yeah.
won't be here for the next meeting, so I'll just let you know now. Unfortunately, I'll be
Okay.
away that week, so
Okay.
this won't be available.
Thanks, Denise.
Yeah.
Kathleen, go ahead.
I was just wondering if the task force had any interest in potentially us seeing if the Seaway would be interested in us putting a display or something available for information or something for the Top Hat this year. The Top Hat is at the end of March. And it's the official Top Hat ceremony for the whole Seaway in St. Catharines this year. And if we were interested in having some extra information out there, I can approach the Seaway to see if they'd be interested in us having whatever that looks like, a table or something at
Right.
the top hat ceremony with information if we wanted. But now would be the time to be starting to plan that because it's coming up. It'll be here before
Yes.
we know it.
Yeah, ideally, if we had the interpretive plan before council by then, that would be great to provide for them as well. But yeah, I think it's a good idea personally. How do other folks feel about that? Being included, just to, let them know what we have planned. Um,
I think it's a great idea.
yeah,
Let me
I
know
do
if you
too.
need any assistance with that, but that would be great.
Yeah, and I'll connect with you too, Kathleen, to see if what we can put together in the short term.
It might be that
we
the
have.
article from Merit Matters might be the perfect
Yeah,
size and,
yeah,
Yeah, perfectly.
digestibility of information.
I think so.
But well,
Yeah.
I'll be in touch.
Sure, sounds good.
It's the Seaways event, so I wouldn't want to commit
Right.
without checking with them first.
So Kathleen and Carla, I did have the contact of their communication person. He hasn't responded to my last couple of emails, which I hope doesn't mean he's lost his position or anything. Maybe it's just that I've asked him too many questions about the Seaway. But I do have his name, so I'll forward that to both of you if you want to try his contact, unless you have other contacts that you could reach out
Oh,
to.
that would be great.
Okay. And then just going back to the dates, what would be the date of the March one? I'm just thinking because Denise mentioned she would be away in February. I'm thinking, is it during March break? When would the
Um,
March one be?
I don't think we have a date yet.
Oh, okay.
The next meeting, February 13th. Is that
No,
the
no,
one
I'm
you
just
were?
wondering about March.
Oh,
And I
okay.
know it's way too early, but just to let you know that that week of March break often doesn't work for people who are teachers or principals or have children in school. So that
Okay.
might be a few of us, maybe. So we have to watch that when we're doing it.
Maybe we could move it to March 5th instead of the 12th.
March
Yeah,
5th
we
would
can do
work,
that.
definitely for me. March 12th would definitely not work because I'll be away.
Okay. I just wanted to add too, the November of 2024 is the task force we had mentioned about like launching using the November 2024 anniversary, the 200th anniversary of the groundbreaking for the first Welland Canal as a springboard to launch the 2029 bicentennial. So I don't know, it'd be nice to have a logo in place. And of course, by then, and hopefully the interpretive plan will be approved and we'll be on our way with some of the projects we hope to implement. But
Yeah.
Carla,
Yeah.
you mentioned you were speaking to people at the city about a
Yeah,
logo
I've reached
already.
out to the city's graphics department for two logos. One logo for the commemoration of the events, and the second logo for the actual trail. So yeah, I haven't checked in with them yet this year, but when I did, I was hoping that we'd have something for February or March. So hopefully by February or March's meeting, definitely, but probably by March's meeting, we'll have some designs.
Right. And the trail the historic Welland Canals corridor, was that the name we were going with, or did we come up with a name for it? Or is
Don't
it
think
still
we
going to
made a
be
final
just?
determination yet.
No, I don't think we did. I think we need
We'll-
to,
We'll have to put that on the
obviously.
agenda.
Yeah, why don't we have that on the agenda for next meeting? And between now and the next meeting, maybe folks can think about, I like the idea of the historic Welland Canals corridor or bicentennial corridor. I don't know. Because it encompasses, the existing Merritt Trail, the third canal elements in the former Grantham Township in Port Dalhousie, and yeah,
Renee, would that have to, and Carlos, would that have to go through, and Kathleen, would that have to go through city council though? Would that
yeah,
name change be something that would involve all of the city councilors?
I would think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would think.
Kathleen can comment, but I would think that depending on what we get approved of the interpretive plan, it might be sort of a blanket approval that the task force decides. My only concern would be with what Renee said is it's kind of lengthy. If we could come up with something a bit shorter, but I know that you get everything you need in there, so.
Yeah. So think about that, folks, over the course before our next meeting of some, we can get some ideas of a name. I think the Merit Trail, I think we need to expand on that. You know, yeah, he was the initiator of the Welland Canals, but in the current public landscape, how relevant is that name any longer, you know? So, all right. The next meeting is February 13th, and it will be amended to 6:30. And, excuse me, can I have if there's nothing else, a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Lorraine, thank you. All in favor? See you next time, folks. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Everybody.
thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye now. Kathleen, oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
I'll hook up
Yeah.
with you and Kathleen in the next week or so, and we can,
Yeah,
or next
perfect.
couple of weeks, and we can talk about whatever.
Right, okay,
As
definitely
far as
before the next meeting.
presentation to council or whatever. Okay,
Okay, very
thanks,
good.
Carla.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank